Well, that was confusing. Alright, a little backstory to help set the scene. The Alex Rider franchise started back in September 2000 and is based around the idea of a secret agent also being a British schoolboy, which, whilst not officially tied into the James Bond franchise, each book follows a lot of the same beats as a James Bond film, not book, and I always enjoyed reading them on holiday. Now, this series starts with the plot of the second book, Point Blank, but also obviously has set up the premise of the series. Uncle dies, uncle worked for MI6, 14-year-old nephew is encouraged to work for MI6, nephew goes up against supervillains with only wits and gadgets on the somewhat flimsy premise that no one is going to suspect a 14-year-old boy of being a spy. And if you're wondering why the first book isn't being turned into the first series, there was a film many years ago,
Many people killed.
lots of money lost, moving on. Which, given that the plot of the first involves a deadly virus being released onto British schoolchildren, is the sort of storyline that Amazon is probably thanking the gods of streaming they don't have to advertise. Not that they bothered advertising this series, literally the first I knew about the shows when it popped up on my Amazon Prime account. No trailers, nothing on the radio, hell, I didn't even see a single solitary tweet advertising this thing. I still haven't, but that's no never mind, I've seen it now. Now, for those of you wondering, the Alex Rider book that this 8-episode, each of which is 45 minutes long TV series is based off, is 320 pages long, which means that this is pretty much the same idea as those Hobbit movies from a few years ago that you've already forgotten exist, because I'm just going to say it now, these should have been made into movies, each 90 to 120 minutes long, because that's the medium that these books have always seemed to have one eye on, as they're fast-paced, fun, full of action sequences and fun, shallow characters, and we know this formula works on the silver screen. It would also gloss over some of the book's inherent flaws as it moves along at a fair old clip. Sadly though, as a TV series, and a fairly slowly paced at the start TV series at that, this shows a lot of flaws, and I mean a lot of flaws. I'll gloss over the numerous plot holes, conveniences and inconsistencies within the show because, well, I've got bigger fish to fry. I can even sort of overlook that it takes 4 episodes of this 8-episode series to get going. Even though I accept and understand that people will have given up on this by the end of episode 2, as it gets better later, can apply to almost anything, and this, well, also I'm not really sure that it does get better. At one point my wife turned to me and asked, "Who is this for?" and I didn't really have an answer. The beats of this story are straight out of a teenage story book, but the action is all over the place, ranging from teenage hijinks to brutal murder scenes to bike chases across London. The cinematographer thinks that they're making a moody piece of art because every single shot is gorgeous and amazing and wonderful, but seems strangely out of place when in the very next scene, after this gorgeously shot scene, our paper-thin villain has done something evil, and I'm watching a teenage boy go skiing down a mountain. Oh yeah, the villains are straight out of James Bond's central casting as well. Not modern cranky Bond, but Roger Moore Bond. They've got the layer, the dodgy accent, the plan that sounds good on paper but wouldn't work in the real world. I think he's even got the Uber Goon. Oh, did I mention the scenes where our lead is brutally tortured? Yeah, this show's weird. No one's having any fun. A hell of a lot of the adults just spend their time staring at screens, saying things that are very serious indeed, or something like they're destined for the trailer that never seemed to get released. Also, the spies seem to have wandered in off the set of Spooks or some as yet unreleased English version of Jason Bourne. Even the gadgets are all very serious and po-faced. So you have a spy series with an identity crisis featuring actors that seem to have wandered off of several very different incarnations of fictional spies, where Aid himself is given very little to work with. Ryder is a self-insert Mary Sue and is in dire need of a decent haircut. Oh, also, I would have told you the plot by now, but I can't without spoiling it. To be honest, the actual plot of the book just seems to be springboard for padding, dropping hints for something that fans of the book will see coming in Season 1, and will make no sense to those that aren't. Also, massive sequel bait. And good luck with the twist that they've introducing as it messes up the continuity of the books, but whatever. No one said that books and TV shows have to be the same, even though they are being written by the same person who also wrote that terrible Stormbreaker film, now that I think about it. Back with Alex Rider, and each episode is 30 minutes of padding, followed by 15 minutes of actual plot, just in time for the cliffhanger for that episode. The actual actor playing Alex is fine, even if he is in dire need of a haircut. Actually, the cast as a whole are fine. I'm just not sure they're all told the same thing by the same director. Look, if you can get past the first 4 episodes, the slow pace and beautiful shots which frame what should be a fun, pulpy teenage wish fulfillment story full of fun but flat characters and more padding than you can shake a serious person spouting exposition over a computer screen at, this isn't dull, it's just confused. So, in other words, if nothing else, yeah, this'll do. Otherwise, just don't bother. But What did you guys think, and what is your teenage wish fulfillment that you wish you could see up on the big screen? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, been a Dunking. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe.